right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Miami Dolphins post-game show here on FTSN. I'm Bobby Finstock with Finstanza and Greg Maney of Overtime. Finstock Overtime. Miami Dolphins get beat down in Seattle 24-3. Miami's offense is a no-show with Skylar Thompson at quarterback. And we get to a Tim Boyle appearance at the end because Skylar Thompson gets kicked out of the game, basically. Injured. He got injured. Chest injury, out of the game. Unfortunate for him, but we are here no matter what, win, lose, or draw, raw reaction. Skylar finished the game today before his chest injury he was 13 for 19, 107 yards, 2 fumbles, 82.6 passer rating. Tim Boyle following him, 7 of 13 for 79 yards, 72.3 passer rating. This is Coach McDaniel's 8th loss by 14 or more points and his 39th as head coach. Let me go ahead and read off some numbers here before we get the guys' reaction. Devon Achane, 11 carries for 30 yards. Jalen Wright, 17 yards with 2 carries. Jeff Wilson also was in there, 3 to 14. And with a fumble, Tyreek Hill, 3 receptions, 40 yards. Devon Achane, 3 receptions for 28 yards. Waddle featured, looked like that was his favorite receiver for Skylar Thompson today. 4 receptions, 26 yards. Durham Smythe could have had 2 receptions for a touchdown, but he couldn't catch it when he came down with it. The defense, despite it all, we'll talk about it, hung in there as long as they could. Zach Sealer with a game today, an interception. Kid Code came down with an INT. I don't know how many times Miami was in the red zone due to the defense making plays, just couldn't come through. All right. I'm sure there is plenty to say. I know the one with the most to say is doing his little dance back there, but we are going to go with Greg. Greg, first off, sir, before anything, how the hell are you?
Doing good. Rough night, rough day, but doing pretty good. And we got Evan making faces over here, so it's all good.
And my goodness, I know we're going to go a little, step by step here, but overall, after this football game, looking at this Miami Dolphins, we talked about it before the show, obviously, but, offense with Skylar at quarterback, basically a no-show. They couldn't get anything going. Defense, you and I agree, did the most they could. Overall, as a football team, after this game, how are you feeling right now?
You have a backup quarterback in. You know it's going to be rough. You're in Seattle. Seattle's not an easy place to play. And you commit 11 penalties. You have offensive. Anytime you had a chance to get just a little bit of momentum on offense, it seemed like there was a penalty. And it just that's poor coaching. I'm sorry. I don't like going there. Evan's going to be, agreeing with me here, and he's already cracking up about it. But it's poor coaching. How can you have 10 days with your backup and still not get plays in on time? All right? And still have that many offsides. Yeah, it's Seattle. It's a tough place to play. But come on. All right? It was just somebody in the comments here a little earlier said it was typical, and sadly, yeah, that's the way I feel about it. It was a typical performance, and Seattle played bad. They did not play a good game. They played bad and won by 25 or 21, and Miami had chances and just looked lost, and that's my opinion on this thing. We can talk about individual plays and things like that, but it just the bigger overall arching narrative of this was they just didn't look ready to play, and it's sad in a way. 2 weeks in a row.
No, you're right. Absolutely. Before we get to Evan, I want to read off some of Coach McDaniel's comments that Adam Beasley's posting up here, and then we'll get Evan to go ahead and talk about the game, his thoughts on the game very quick, and then of course Mike McDaniel's comments. Mike McDaniel, I'm not looking for excuses. I don't think anybody in the locker room is. I think Skylar did a good job operating the offense. He needs a better job preparing the team, pointing to the 11 penalties. He also says, I see the quarterback as an extension of the offense, and the offense is an extension of me, starting with me. It just needs to be better. So, accepting responsibility. Skylar Thompson has a pretty painful rib injury. McDaniel on offensive struggles. You have to look at everything. You have to find a way to give your team the best chance to win. McDaniel on the sloppy game. We have to handle the road better, and that starts with me. That continues throughout everyone. The crowd was rocking, and we looked as though it was the first time in a hostile environment. And, of course, Kendall Fuller and Armstead both in concussion protocol. And we'll see if anything else pops up here as we move on. Before we go, though, let's get to Finstanza on his thoughts on the game for the Dolphins on the Seattle Seahawks. He did say Miami would lose on Thursday night, but switched it up today, putting on his homer hat and saying Miami will win. Miami did, in fact, not win. They did lose 24-3. Finstanza, remember, we try to keep it at least an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I know you're going to go for about 45 minutes, but try to limit. Go ahead, my friend. You're on.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, this is a white flag. And the reason I'm laughing is because that's what I was doing. I felt like I was watching an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Honestly, watching Mike McDaniel lose his mind on the sideline, confused about what's going on. The players heard whistles. It was just a laughable game. To see Skylar Thompson come back into the game after he got walloped, to see him get crushed at the end of the half. We believe he can run this offense. We believe he's capable. You put him in zero position, like we said in the pregame show. Let's keep it simple. Let's spread the ball. What did he do? We're running the ball really well. I know Greg and Brett said, well, they want you to run the ball. But we were running the ball. But in the end, on first, we get a great run. Let's throw the ball 3 times like it's the Kansas City Chiefs game again. The complete game plan was utter nonsense. He had no time to throw the ball. He could not decide what to do. He was totally inaccurate. He threw 19 times for 107 yards. It was laughable. They were 1 for 16 on 3rd and 4th down. They had the ball in the red zone multiple times, and they never once went to Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. It was laughable, and it's all falling on this head coach. Now, is Chris Greer deserve to be fired? Yes. The talent on this team is brittle. It's embarrassing. The penalties is unbelievable. Danny Crossman. But what made it so funny, Mike McDaniel, is finally you were not – the thing was is that you had the ball – on their side. You'd rather have Jason Sanders, who's not good at kicking 55-plus yard field goals. I didn't expect him to make it. And you have him in a hostile environment going for that field goal. Go for it. Even if you throw a bomb, I don't care. At least you tried, because it would have been the same thing as him missing the field goal. It wouldn't have made a difference. Just try something. But no, he went against it. Then he gives the ball to Ingold on the 3rd and 1. It was just a consistent bad effort, and I'm tired of the excuses from Mike McDaniel that he's taking responsibility. Why is he saying that? Because Chris Greer and him feel like they're living on cloud 9. They don't want to win football games. 3 points, 11 points a game in 3 games for the number 1 offense. Are you absolutely kidding me? In the red zone, you never once targeted your 2 best players. You're targeting Term Smythe. You're targeting, and Julian Hill takes penalty after penalty after penalty, and you throw him back out there. Are you absolutely kidding me? It is total unpreparation by our head coach. He is not a head coach. And the reason why I'm laughing is that for 2 years, I've been saying this about Mike McDaniel. He is the problem. It's not Tua. It's not Skylar. It's over the overall talent, because Mike McDaniel chose to sign Tim Boyle, who actually looked better than Skylar Thompson. That side throw was actually a beautiful throw on his part. He did a good job. Tyler Huntley has to be the quarterback if they don't go get someone. But the way Matthew Stafford played today, I'd go give up a first for Jimmy G if you have to, or do something, because we know Mike McDaniel's not going anywhere. But at this point, what else are we going to do? Or tank, do something. But at this point, Mike McDaniel as our head coach is a laughing stock. He's on the level of Joe Philbin and Cam Cameron to me. He has no idea what to do. He talks in soliloquies. It's absolutely laughable. To watch him is funnier than watching a Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is beyond the word hilarious.
Wow. I'm proud. I am legit proud. But none of it's wrong.
No.
I think I just put that up on there, and it's probably going to come up now. I lost it here, but no, Julian Hill, great point on that. And again, that's why a lot of people were saying, you see, no one else could run this offense. Man, if Tua was here, we'd win. No, this is bigger than Tua.
Well,
this was bigger than Tua. Let's be real,
We'll
right?
talk Tua.
Evan, didn't we talk about, an early shot deep with Waddle or Hill or something like that? The only shot deep that they took was to a tight end.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
What are you doing? All right. This is 2 games in a row now that you've had Hill and Waddle combined for under 70 yards receiving.
Yep.
Your 2 best players on offense aren't contributing to the offense, and you wonder why your offense sucks.
Carolina.
And it's just unbelievable.
Carolina. Doesn't Dave Canales look like a genius today? Doesn't Dave Canales look like a genius today? 33 points. This is the same Raiders team that stopped Lamar Jackson, and they took Miles Sanders and Andy Dalton, took them to task today. That's the point I'm trying to make about this NFL is there's parity in the NFL. Anyone can beat anyone on a given Sunday, because if you look, the Jets look anemic against the 49ers. The 49ers just lost to the Rams, who didn't have Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Anything can happen. Look. I said, what did I say about the crowd noise today, Bobby?
Yeah.
Mike
it
McDaniel,
absolutely was a factor today.
Mike McDaniel is an excuse maker. I don't care what people have to say about Chris Grier. Chris Grier is a yes man. And the frustration I have with Brett and with everybody who blames Chris Grier, I blame Chris Grier. But Mike McDaniel chose Tua after 3 years. He chose Skylar Thompson over Mike White. They chose to sign Tim Boyle versus getting Tyler Huntley as their backup at the beginning of the year and having him throughout training camp. They could have had him for free. There's so many things they could have done. Teron Armstead gets poked in the eye. The guy has every injury known to man. Cut the guy. I honestly, at this point, just play your stars. You said, is the season over? Yes, the season's over, because the season is over because Mike McDaniel is your head coach. Because no matter what, they were 1 for 16. As many penalties as Seattle got, we had just as much. They were as bad as we were today. Think about that. The Seahawks were awful today. Turnover machines. Couldn't do anything on offense at one point. And the Dolphins could not find a way twice in the red zone inside of their 5 to score anything but 3 points. 3 points. Why? You never utilize your 2 best players. You're throwing fades to Durham Smythe, who had the ball in his hand, and said, I don't want the ball. I'll throw it off. He had a touchdown in his hand. He let go of the ball. For me, it's Mike McDaniel looking angry on the field, showing emotion. But when he Skylar Thompson down 17-3, laughing on the sideline, I don't get it. I don't get his mentality of being a head. That's not a head coach. He does not get the concept of being a head coach. It's like taking someone from the mailroom and putting him as CEO at a board meeting. It doesn't work. And unfortunately, Stephen Ross, I'm sorry again, love you as an owner for the foundation of this Miami Dolphins franchise, what you've done for the community, for cancer, for the Miami Open. But as a team, you have the worst front office and the worst head of coaching staff in the NFL, and it's not even a close second. A close second. And I'm not overreacting, because I've been saying this for 2 years. I defend a lot of things about the Miami Dolphins. The one thing I'm consistent about is that this head coach is awful. Not just bad. I wouldn't even hire him to be my peewee head coach. He's that bad.
So
he's lost. He's lost.
Let me start with Greg here, and then Evan, you can follow up. So, what about, I saw a lot of this online on Twitter. So, Greg, I want you to respond to this, because we brought it up earlier, and it's right there about how, people saying Miami lost because we had Skylar Thompson back there. We had our backup quarterback. There were 4 teams that won with backup quarterbacks. They talked to me about that, brother.
Yeah, no, winning and losing in the NFL, and you see it all the time, is basically about quarterback play. When you get bad quarterback play, you lose. When you get good quarterback play, you win. But there are 4 quarterbacks that won the game today, backup quarterbacks. You had Green Bay on the road at Tennessee. They put up 30 points with a backup quarterback. You had Minnesota at home, started the year with a backup quarterback. Darnold All right.
4
If
touchdowns today. He threw
if-
4
yeah,
touchdowns.
If Darnold was the backup in Miami, we would hate on him because of how bad he was. Okay. You got Josh Fields in Pittsburgh. They're now 3-0. One today. All right. Carolina, Andy Dalton. Okay. Andy Dalton. Does anybody want Andy Dalton on their team starting? But they scored 36 points. All right. Evan said that there's parity in the NFL. Absolutely, there's parity. The talent between the top rosters and the bottom rosters is pretty small when it's all said and done. What the difference is the quality of quarterback play. Okay, you get good quarterback play, you elevate your roster. When you don't get good quarterback play, you look like crap. All right, and now Miami is 1-5 in their last 6 games that they played. 3 last year, 3 this year, and they're averaging under 14 points a game with a roster that's pretty good. All right, 2 games in a row, Hill and Waddle don't catch for 70 yards combined. What is this? All right, you're committing 11 penalties again. All right, that's not unusual. You got Mike McDaniel running down the sideline, either calling timeout or trying to call timeout because he can't get plays in. I mean, what is this? All right, it's not an aberration anymore. Okay, we can't say that last year he had the number 2 scoring offense and the number 2 offense and the league's leading passer and all of that stuff. None of that matters right now. The last 6 games, this offense has been bad, just flat out bad. And when you step back and look at it, it's 2 things that's been bad on it. It's been the quarterback and it's been the head coach.
Right.
And you can't separate the 2 right now.
Did you happen to notice, both of you, that because it's Tim Boyle, so I don't question Tim Boyle because it's Tim Boyle, that he on that drive to make it 17-10, he could have ran the ball in. Did you notice how much space he had before he threw the ball? He could have ran it in for a touchdown on one of those plays. It's a complete lack of preparation on this team. Bobby's been saying it for 2 years. We're a quarterback away. If we had Andy Dalton in this game, if we had Ryan Fitzpatrick in this game, if we had a quarterback, and also, you know what the worst part about it, Bobby, is that he didn't adjust. 32 passes for your backup. He gave the opportunity for the pass, the running. He allowed his backup quarterback, to throw the ball more than his starting quarterback. He didn't go to A-channel a lot. He was letting him gunsling it when the running game was actually getting chunk yards at one point. And he doesn't continue with it.
Can I respond to that very quick? Because
I
know
want to hear that bullshit. I don't want to hear that.
No, I know, I agree. Because the fact is, McDaniel decided that the 7th round backup quarterback was good enough to come in and play today. Mm-hmm. That was a Coach McDaniel decision. It's not like he had 10 days plus before that to decide, okay, let me go get a real backup. He decided not to. And secondly, Malik Willis was not a 1st-round quarterback. Go check on your history there. He was a 3rd-round quarterback drafted out of Liberty by the Tennessee Titans. So just throwing that out there. And, think about this. For Harrison, who's was not a fan of Sam Darnold coming in out of USC, and he toots that horn a lot. When Evan, and I'm just saying this because when we talked about it the first game of the season, how are the Vikings going to do? Oh, they have Sam Darnold. Well, they never had a receiver like Justin Jefferson, and obviously he's never had a coach like Kevin O'Connell, because Kevin O'Connell knows, hey, let's go get a legit backup who could come in here and win games. Oh my goodness, I actually have a guy I believe in who actually could take advantage of my weapons, and he threw 4 touchdowns today. So Miami decided, Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel both said, we could go into this game with Tua as our quarterback, with his history of concussions and everything else in the book. We could go in with Skylar Thompson as our backup quarterback because we believe he could come in and win games. Skylar Thompson comes in with the opportunity of a lifetime, with 10 days of practice, with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle and company, and plays like he's never played before. Again, worse pocket presence than Tannehill. A lot of people crap on Tannehill. I'd feel a lot better with Tannehill back there than Skylar freaking Thompson. So it's not about, oh, come on, we had a 7th round quarterback back there. Come on, guys, chill out. This was no bull crap. The fact of the matter is, Mike McDaniel believed he could win with Mike McDaniel, with Skylar Thompson. And this just proves that he was dead flat wrong. Go ahead, Greg. I know you're trying to say something, man.
No, and I was going to say, his pocket presence today was awful.
Horrible.
He got hurt. All right. When the line and every blocker was fully engaged, the unblocked guy came right up the middle. It was supposed to be a quick pass. He holds on to the ball, and he basically takes it into the chest. All right. And then, and I was like, ooh, all right, he got the wind knocked out of him. Okay. Then he gets pushed down on the very next play after the next series. And I looked at my wife and I'm like, he broke a rib. I'm like, he's got cracked or broken ribs. That's the only way that this is why he's hurt now. But the whole thing was, the O-line did their job. All right. They didn't play great, but they didn't run the ball poorly. They just didn't get a chance to run the ball that much. Jalen Wright getting 2 carries in this game is ridiculous.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. Even at 17-3, okay? They weren't out of it. They didn't need to panic.
They were 2 scores. Yeah.
They were 2 scores. And basically you're doing you're running a 4th down play. All right, early in the game, you're running a 4th down play. It's like 4th and 3 or 4th and 6, whatever it was, and you go empty. With Skylar Thompson as your quarterback, you go empty. What are you doing? All right, I usually don't criticize play calling. Play calling is hard. Okay, I understand that. It's difficult. You got to take a ton of things into consideration when you make a play call. Your play design and what you call in certain situations, though, yes, I will fault. Going empty with Skylar Thompson on a 4th down play doesn't make any sense to me. Okay? It just doesn't. The defense is looking at this and going, okay, I can get to him now. All right? Because he's not going to read me. I just don't get it. Was there one called run for Skylar Thompson today? Not that I saw.
No.
He moves pretty good. Give the defense something else to think about. All right? And it just the whole concept, last Friday, the Friday after the Buffalo Bills game, okay? We talked about how they weren't prepared and things like that. Short week, all right? All in the media you heard is short week, no practice time, things like that. What the hell's the excuse this week? You had 10 days and you had all of this, and this, again, is the best you got? This game plan? You didn't throw the ball deep to Hill or Waddle once. Not once. You didn't even try. You didn't. All you got to do is go, everybody vertical. Skylar, throw it to Hill and throw it as far as you can. That's the play call. They didn't even try it. And I'm just sitting. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this and I'm going, my God, how many times do we got to call a pass to Tyreek Hill behind the line of scrimmage? I just don't know.
So Harrison says if Tyler Huntley played, we will when he plays.
Can I just say one thing?
We'll be fine. But Brandon Liguri of the hell is he from? Forgive me, guys. From the Miami Herald says the Miami Dolphins will most likely start Tyler Huntley at quarterback in Week 4 against the Titans on Monday Night Football. I don't think that's confirmation. I don't know if he's just guessing that.
Can I just say one thing what made me truly laugh tonight? Did you happen to notice they actually decided to go for 4th and 3, and they had to take a timeout with Tim Boyle, yes. And then he threw the ball to Braxton Berrios, and the guy was so off. The defender, all the defender had to do was this. The guy wasn't even close. What are you throwing it to Braxton Berrios? Like, this is your wide receiver 10. Like, this is like, what are they doing? And things. Mike McDaniel, tell your backup quarterbacks to throw to Durham Smythe, Julian Hill, and Braxton Berrios. Are you absolutely kidding me? It's hilarious. Not Hill, not Waddle. Let's throw the ball to Durham Smythe and Julian Hill and Braxton Berrios. It's absolutely hilarious. It's not even, it's laughable. It's unbelievable. This team is so entertaining. From a laughing perspective, this team is, I had more joy watching this team with Ryan Fitzpatrick in 2019 and 2020 when they were trying to do something. This is a team that on paper has all these superstars and they're doing nothing with them. Think about this, Bobby. We were here a year ago celebrating a 70-20 win, and Mike McDaniel puts up a three. He puts up 3 points in the NFL. 3 points. Are you kidding me? No other team scored less points today. Not one other football team scored less points than the Miami Dolphins. Not one NFL team averaging less. 11 points. 11 points. That means he's scoring.
No, let me say. This is why I'll let you go. I'll let you continue. That's the point, right? That's what's most disappointing. Like, I mean, even though you said it was a homer pick, but you said Miami's going to win. We all said Miami was going to lose this football game, right? You Thursday night, Friday night, you, Greg, Brett said it. I said it was 24-17, and forgive me, I think 24-16. I went a little ahead. I figured the Dolphins would score something. What was so bad about this loss was that alone, but there was no effort. The penalties, again, Seattle did not play a good game at all. And you couldn't even score a touchdown. How 3 times? Was it 3 or 2 times that the Dolphins defense, and kudos to them, that got you in the red zone on the goal line, and you couldn't even come up with any kind of points, not even
run the ball 4 times. Run the ball.
You ran it twice, and then you passed it twice. You run it 3 times. Then when you say, okay, they're stopping me, then you pass it. No, he runs it twice, gets stopped. And it got closer and closer every time he ran it. And then he passed it twice and couldn't get anything. That's what's crazy. And that's what's so deflating. If Miami would have lost 24-17 or whatever this, I would have been like, and showed some fight. You'd be like, you know what? It is what it is. We figured this was going to happen. But because the way they lost, at the decision-making that was being done, the way the quarterback play was happening after 10 days, and you decided this was going to be your quarterback when Tua went down. All that and more was what's so deflating, because, again, we go, it's true, right? The truth is it's week 3, right? It's week 3, right? We have a long season to go, but who's still your head coach next week? What's going to be your quarterback? Is it Tyler Huntley? Will that be enough to change up the offense enough to make a play? Again, we go, but we're going to face the Titans. We're facing the Titans on Monday night in Hard Rock.
Doesn't matter.
The fact is you were playing against a Seattle team that was trying to lose. They were playing to lose. They gave you so many opportunities to sneak a win in a hostile environment. I mean, my goodness. Look, no 17-24. If that was the final, it would have been like, damn, man, that 12th man, Evan was saying it before the game. The 12th man is going to be huge. And it was, but it was bigger than that. And that's what's so damn deflating about this loss. And McDaniel, it's going to be very hard. It should be easy to choose Miami over Tennessee because the way Tennessee is playing, it's going to be after this game. It's very hard.
We're -1 at home. At home, we're -1. The Titans are so bad, but we are so bad right now. We're only -1 at home. To get the Titans, we're -1. Like, are you kidding me? You have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and you're -1, -1 at home. Are you kidding? This is laughable.
Well, I don't understand why they wouldn't be better. I mean, right now, I'm taking Tennessee. If I were
I take Tennessee.
All right, but back to the game a little bit. All right, the first possession. Okay, you attempt a 57-yard field goal. Okay, you either go for it there or you punt the ball. You know it's going to be a field position. For you to win, you know it had to be a low-scoring field position defense type game. All right. I don't understand that. Okay, I don't understand that play. All right, you create the turnover. You're down 10-0. You're on the 4-yard line. Okay, you're on the 4-yard line, and you gain 0 yards. Okay, after the interception, right? But you kick the field goal. Hey, you're down 10-3. Not great, but you're in it. Okay. Defense comes on the field. First play, 71-yard touchdown to Metcalf. All right. Beating cover 2. So Mel Kiper had a coronary. All right. But it's just, all right. Now you're down 17-3. All right. You're down 17-3 in the first half. The game's not over. This game's still in touch. You're still there. It's the first quarter. And what did they do? That offense ran or threw the ball, 22 times? He got sacked 4 times, attempted 19 passes or whatever it was, and they only ran the ball 8 times. What are you trying to do? I am not a fan of running the football, but there are certain times and certain things that you have to do, certain game considerations you have to consider to where you have to do this. Why are you getting Tyler or Skylar just pummeled? I talked about this before. I've talked about it on a couple different shows. The game management, the clock management of this team is just awful. It's just been awful lately, and that's on the head coach. That's on the head coach. When you're a former coach and you see these mistakes being made constantly, you see the penalties. They got 11 penalties today. When are you ever going to go on the road, commit 11 penalties with a backup quarterback and expect to do anything? You got to be more disciplined than that. You got to. I don't. That's the frustrating part. You sit and watch this and you say, it could and should be better. All right, the coaching and the preparation should be better. The game management should be better. And it's hard for players when all of those things are bad to correct it, to have a positive outcome. It's just,
Whoa, hold on a second. Manny in the house, bearded fanatic. What's up, brother? Great to see you in here, my man. I wish it was under better circumstances, but it's so good to see that you are here. Guys, first off, before we continue, we got over 103 people watching, and that's from Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. Thank you all for tuning in. You're watching the Miami Dolphins postgame show on FTSN. You got Finstanza, you got Greg, you got myself talking Dolphins, Seattle. Dolphins, of course, losing 24-3. In Seattle. I mean, again, the 12th man was absolutely a factor today. I mean, the cameras were shaking. Even the referees were confused. And there was that one play with Alec Ingold stopped halfway during the play, and it was just a whole other thing. And it was crazy. It was a crazy game, and not looking good for Miami or its fans. Of course, the players are going to say good things. They're going to try to pump up their boy. But Skylar Thompson, again, this was his second chance. And I understand, we look at the, what about the offensive line? No, don't want to hear about the offensive line. This was the way it was constructed. Skylar's our backup. I don't want to hear that. He's their 7th round pick. They decided he was the backup. A lot of things you could say just won't fly right now. As we move on, and what I'm thinking is what we can do, if people are willing, we'll drop the link, and I want to hear from fellow Dolphin fans about their quick thoughts on Miami and today's game and what maybe to look forward to. While we're doing that, I'm going to pull up today's games as they're being played. We're going to go over them very quick. And hopefully, as you're talking, Evan will not laugh out loud and interrupt. That'd be great. But I'll go ahead. I'm going to drop that link and put it in there. And you guys are welcome to pop in and give us your thoughts. Love to hear from you. And you don't have to jump on the camera. You could keep your audio on, and we'll introduce you as you go. And we'll go ahead and put that. All right. So as we wait on that, we will go ahead and start this off. Okay. So Green Bay Packers, Malik Willis travels to his former home in Tennessee and pulls off a victory, 30-14. The Packers win. Greg, did you follow some of these games today?
I followed some of those games. You know, everything that I've said about McDaniel and not having his team prepared and not putting his quarterback in a very good position to succeed, that Green Bay coach is doing that. They do not have the talent that Miami does on offense, and yet they still manage to run a good offense with a backup, change things up just enough to where they're productive. I mean, they put 30 up on the road. I don't care if it's against Tennessee.
Yeah.
You know, you score 30 points in the NFL, you're doing something right. All right? Miami's scored 33 all year? I mean, you know, so I mean, it just, you know, no, I'm impressed with Green Bay. And when they get Jordan Love back, they're going to be a tough out in the NFC.
And I'll say first off, man, enjoy your dinner. We miss you too. Whenever you are ready, dude, please let me know. I'd love to have you on and have you here, man. Great to hear from you, and hopefully get to see you soon, brother. Evan is the man. He speaks the truth, even if it hurts. If he was speaking the truth, he's just laughing. Everything he's saying is not wrong. Just the interrupting laughter.
I didn't interrupt once.
When you're muted, yeah. Anyway, so we got the Houston Texans beat down by the Minnesota Vikings, 34-7. Talk about it. 4 touchdowns. Sam Darnold, though, man.
I said Brian Flores' defense is otherworldly.
Yep.
This guy's going to get. If he wasn't for all his issues, the guy should be a head coach in the NFL. You want to know what? I'm sorry. No matter what, maybe his methods were wrong. I've always said, Mike McDaniel would have been the right coach during the beginning of the rebuild. Brian Flores is a head coach when you're ready to win. This guy took his defense today and smothered CJ Stroud. I told you he'd humble him.
2 INTs, right?
I told you he would humble him. And that's exactly what he did. And just to go back quickly, whatever players we pick, in the end, you've been a coach, Greg. I coach hockey. We all coach. We choose when we put players on the ice in situations. We're talent evaluators, even if it's at a lower level. Who makes the final say on talent evaluation? A head coach. He evaluated this talent and said, Tim Boyle's my guy. Jada Thompson's my guy. Mike White is my guy. Jeremy Smythe is my guy. Julian Hill is my guy. Teron Armstead. He chooses to put these people out there, and he agrees with these calls. So in the end, he is worse because he continues to make these decisions saying, I'm willing to accept this person. Because if he didn't believe in Skylar Thompson, he could have said, trade me for a quarterback. I need to have someone solidified.
Yeah.
No, they've been true like this in the end all the time. It's amazing. You have Sam Darnold's moved around. At least he's moved around. That's why he's been knocked down. Skylar Thompson hasn't been knocked down. If you go get an Andy Dalton or Jimmy G or Sam Darnold or what?
He said he was knocked down today. He was knocked out.
No, knocked out. No, but by the way, did you happen to notice how quickly he went down on that play? It wasn't even a hard play because he got hurt on the last play.
Oh, yeah, he was already hurt. Yeah.
Mike McDaniel should not have put him in, period.
Mm-mm.
So
that's another thing right there. I'll let you out because I know you're going to say it. That's another issue with Mike McDaniel, dude. It's like the Stephen Ross syndrome, too. Ross sticks with guys way too long than he's supposed to. McDaniel has that same thing. It's like, oh, are you feeling good enough? All right, go ahead in there. Let's not go, hey, you know what? Let's use this as an excuse now. Hey, man, you know what? Go sit down, relax. Hey, Tim, go ahead and get in there. Let's see what you can do. No, he's like, all right, Scott, even though I know you just probably busted your rib, go back out there. And we're going to, in that little tap that you go, damn, that didn't look too bad. No, that hurts. A little thing hurts. But anyway, go ahead.
And another one key point. And I want to make this very clear coming from a homer who's a guy.
Who's a homer?
Me. I've been a homer for 2 years.
You dropped that a year ago. You lost.
No. Let me be clear. I love my Miami Dolphins franchise.
I know you do.
I have an issue with the team itself, with the way it's evaluated.
I know.
If people think that when Tua comes back, this is going to change?
No.
Tua would not have made a difference in this game one iota. Why? Because he runs the Mike McDaniel offense. The Mike McDaniel offense was solved 2 years ago. He doesn't get away from it. He doesn't adjust. He doesn't adapt. He doesn't come up with new ideas. He continues to go with the same nonsense. And even though we always said maybe he was targeting Tyreek Hill way too much. Now he's not targeting him at all. There's no middle. He is literally the dumbest smart guy I've ever met. It doesn't make sense. He is, no matter who you put out there, it wouldn't matter. The only thing you could do is put someone like the only person who could overdo this is an Aaron Rodgers or a Patrick Mahomes or a Peyton Manning, a style type of quarterback who would have told you, screw you, Mike McDaniel, I'm audibling at the line of scrimmage. I don't like what I see. And also, did you happen to notice today how many times were they at 0 seconds, 1 second, 2 seconds? Dumb it down, Mike McDaniel. The guy had 10 days to prepare himself for this game. They handed it to him. The Seahawks sucked today, and Mike McDaniel said, let me show you, I'm going to suck more than you. I'm going to give you, I'm going to let you win this game. I'm going to quit before we even start. Why do this? He should have called Mike McDaniel. Mike McDonald said, I'll just forfeit. I don't want to waste the plane airfare. I don't want to waste Stephen Ross's money.
Go ahead, Greg.
I was going to say, to that point, you have a backup in, all right? You have a backup without a lot of experience playing, okay? All right? Don't put the extra burden of rushing him to beat the play clock.
Yep.
All right? On top of it all. He's got so many things going on in his head, just trying to get the play correct, call the play, get to the line of scrimmage, and everything else. And you're rushing him on the play clock because you can't get the play in. It's ridiculous. Okay? And again, it's just lack of preparation. And with 10 days of practice, there's no excuse for it.
That's great, Brett. This is great. It's creativity. Relax. People are keeping games as a part of the season so they can go run in December. Yeah. By the way, this, even with Tua, I don't give this team more than 6 wins at this point. Honestly, Mike McDaniel has to give up the play calling. I've been saying this for a year and a half. The only way you salvage this season is he gives up the play calling. He cannot be the one calling the plays. If he's calling the plays, we're doomed. Give it to Frank Smith. Do something. Take a break from it, because the way he should be as a head coach, you're supposed to be accountable and say, I know when I'm wrong. You're saying that in a press conference, eat your own words and admit responsibility for the fact that you want to know what? Take a look at yourself in the mirror and say, you want to know what? I'm a little overwhelmed here. I need to step back. I am a little biased here. I can't get out of my own way. And if someone's not going to do that, he's going to go down with the ship. Stephen Ross, I don't care what the money costs. Fire him. Fire Chris Greer. Do something. Because, by the way, I will tell you this, Bobby. If they do this thing where they stick with this for the next 2 years, it's going to be exhausting. I don't know how we're all going to survive. Number one, I'll just have to laugh my way through it. Two, if they do this where Mike McDaniel is the scapegoat again and they leave Chris Greer there again, then this franchise is lost forever. Because if you do this nonsense again of having to only fire the head coach or only fire the GM, it's laughable. Because at least, you want to know what? I'm proud of Dave Canales. Dave Canales said, you want to know what? I'm going to eat crow and I'm going to play my backup quarterback today. I think Bryce Young is overwhelmed right now. And everyone ripped him a new one this whole week. Who's right now? Why? He adjusted. He tried something different. He didn't use a short quarterback and who was struggling to get out of the pocket. He used an experienced veteran. Do we have an experienced veteran? No. We have a fifth-year quarterback who's missed multiple times with concussions and has only played well because of the fact that we were playing meager teams, not great teams. He's never played well against good teams. And Tim Boyle, who's a wandering quarterback, and Skylar Thompson, who's a 7th rounder, who's yet to throw a touchdown in a regular season game. So now you're saying this is the foundation of our football team? No veteran? In hockey, Bobby, you follow hockey not as adept as I am, but you know what every single team typically has when they're young and upcoming? When they're ready to win, or they've hit the level where they're contender, like your Patrick Mahomes, like your Aaron Rodgers, yeah, you can have a no-name backup. But I'll take the team where I am in Montreal. They're rebuilding. They're doing it the right way here, and they had a veteran backup the last 3 years. And now that they're trying to take the next step, they traded him away because now they have a young core that can help them win. Here, no, let's just have an injury-prone quarterback, a 7th-round quarterback, a quarterback who's been a no-name for years. Let's just do that. Like that's our head coach right there. Because if he was supposed to be this quarterback whisperer for Tua Tagovailoa, why couldn't he do it with Skylar Thompson if Kyle Shanahan was able to do it with Brock Purdy? And you know what the funny part about Brock Purdy? When did Brock Purdy become a star? When he beat the Miami Dolphins and Mike McDaniel.
Greg, you wanted to keep going? You wanted to say something else? I saw you.
Well, one of the things about the Carolina, with the backup quarterback, his name's escaping.
Red Rifle Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton. All right. You know what Andy Dalton is? He's a pro.
Yeah.
Okay. He understands what the defense is doing. He understands protections. He sees the blitz, and basically he'll make throws. He'll make throws. Okay. He'll win you regular season games. He's not going to advance you in the playoffs. He's not going to do anything like that. He's a backup. That was Fitzpatrick at the end of his career. He was a pro. He understood offenses. He understood defenses. He understood protections, and he made a throw every now and then. Miami needs to get something like that now. You can't. This year's pretty much gone, but next year, you better have a veteran backup quarterback on your stable going into the season. Uh-oh.
Brett, like I say, host of Fins Talk Overtime in the house. Brett, how you doing, brother?
I wish we were better. I was getting ready. I was watching you guys getting ready to go to bed.
Am I not funny? Am I not funny?
I'm like, you know what? I gotta jump on here. I got to jump on real quick, even if it's for a few minutes, because this is just insane. But like again, beginning of the season, the preseason, a lot of us are saying our backup quarterback situation is terrible. We need better quarterback play. Holy hell! Like just Skylar Thompson is struggling. He just looks so stiff, and that sack, his injury was on him. I mean, he's not identifying it, and then Boyle actually looks smoother throwing the ball than he did. Like Skylar Thompson is just like he sits there with the ball, and then he's waiting forever to throw it. It just looks awful. And I mean, the guy was like Taysom Hill in college. He wasn't really a quarterback. He just kind of ran the ball. Like he was a triple option kind of quarterback. So I don't know what they're seeing in him. You guys are right. It take too long to identify their issues. And I think McDaniel realizes now, like, oh crap, Tua's not the guy. Our backups suck. Oh, it's too late now. Yeah, what are you going to do now? It's watching it. The David Long is just frustrating to watch. Just throwing a shoulder at people. The defensive lineman over pursue, which overall the defense wasn't absolutely terrible, but the defense isn't good enough. Like Greg's been saying it, they're not talented like they were last year. They're not good enough to carry the team like they were last year. The linebackers were not good. The safeties, Holland is just awful in coverage. He bites too much on the play actions, but it's no discipline. And Greg, you're right. The Packers coaches, like all the good teams, their coaches get the guys ready. The Dolphins are not ready. They're undisciplined. And I'm sorry to say, but Flores was the wrong guy to fire. The team was way more disciplined under him. Hell, they're more disciplined under Philbin. Like the fundamentals were sound, but they always wanted like a soft team. They don't have that aggressive team, that physical team. And when they need to get physical, when the Seahawks need to get physical, they punch Miami in the mouth to finish a game. So it's like it's frustrating to watch this team just constantly get out physical, get outmatched out. And the Seahawks were just as sloppy as Miami, and yet they won the game. And their 2 big touchdown drives, they just marched right down the field. What was it, 6-7 drives? On the ground, which I'm just like, wow. And the defense has spotted us 17 points, by the way. So 16 points goes to the offense. So the offense by themselves average 16 points a game.
Well, the other thing they did on offense, Seattle did on offense, is basically they're like, okay, let's just do some tempo. I think they saw some matchups, and I got to watch the film again, but I think they found some matchups on the defensive line that they liked. went tempo so that the Dolphins couldn't sub.
Yeah, I
and,
noticed that too.
And at least that's my theory right now. I'll have to look at it again, but the way they picked and choose when they went to tempo, I think they were trying to take advantage of something there.
And they were not afraid to take shots. And then when Fuller was on DK Metcalf in that big play, I was like, what is happening here? Why? That
Two safety deep.
and I'm like,
deep.
Ramsey needs to be on him, not.
Well, Ramsey was playing the 2 deep corner, and basically they ran somebody underneath. He jumped that, and Metcalf was like, "Ooh, okay."
Wide open.
Route. Bobby, remember how during the press conference this week, guys, Mike McDaniel said not anybody can run his offense? Well, Tim Boyle was there 3 weeks, and he ran the offense better than the guy who's been here 3 years. Think about this. Skylar Thompson has been learning this offense for 3 years. Tim Boyle, who literally was laughable for the Jets last year when he came in against us, has been here 3 weeks. He ran the offense better. Unfortunately, Mike McDaniel was telling him to throw to Durham, Smythe, Braxton Berrios, and Julian frickin' Hill.
Yeah, well, I saw
wrong Hill.
Well, the thing I saw, they were using Tanner Connor deep. I actually like the way they're using Connor because there were some looks there, but no, the quarterback couldn't give him the ball.
But he can't block.
No, he can't block worth a damn. Like a lot of our guys can't block. Even Durham Smythe's not that good of a blocker. And the one thing I saw, like Smythe's touchdown, or would have been touchdown. That was a nice placement by Boyle. It was there.
It was. I mean, right where it needed to be.
Yeah,
Durham Smythe hasn't received 1 ball yet this year.
And Durham Smythe has had a lot of drops, and that's a difficult catch. I'm not going to hold it against him.
No, it is a tough catch for sure.
But I'm watching the Eagles lost Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown, and yet they still battled the Saints, who were the hottest offense in the NFL. They went toe-to-toe with them, and it wasn't a shootout. But when they needed the big play, you know who they threw to? Dallas Goedert. And you know who we had a chance to draft? Dallas Goedert, Mark Andrews. Who do we draft? Mike Gesicki. And the reason I could go through every single draft, every single year that Greer was in charge and show you all the players he passed up that were sitting right there. And people will always tell me, yeah, but that's 2020. Dude, I said then, I was on Dolphins Talk, and I did it with Bobby at the time. I was on the show, and I said, I didn't see Gesicki as a fit for the offense. I figured we needed bigger. And Mark Andrews were guys I said. Dallas Goedert was another guy I said. And then when we passed on him, we got Gesicki, I was like, okay, all right. I didn't see that as a fit, but all right. And I don't think Gase saw it as a fit. And then, so I think the biggest issue with our front office is they don't have a philosophy. I think they honestly think it's just like Madden. Well, we'll just add players and we'll just move them to guard and tackle, and then we'll just get a body and put them there, and it'll work out. Like there's like no plan in place. And then you watch, like I said, I grew up in the Philly and Baltimore markets. They have a system in place. They have a style they like, and they say this is what we do. This is who we are. This is the kind of football we're going to play. The Steelers, everybody knows who they are, what they do. They're physical football. Like that's why people say, "Oh, they're the Steelers." Greg, when you mentioned Green Bay and you said they coached them up well, the other thing they do really well is they identify talent that fits what they do, and they got a head coach that fits what they do. Cincinnati, believe it or not, I think that they do the same kind of things. They know they're in the AFC North. They know they have to be physical. And looking back to Carson Palmer and his years at Ocho Cinco, their teams aren't much different now with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. So it's like they have an identity. Miami has zero identity, and they're always trying to figure it out. And I really think the issues are stemming at the top. So I hear what everybody's saying about McDaniel, and he was in a bad situation, keeping Boyer and then keeping Crossman and then having to find 2 DCs later and then always change it over that and then never change it, especially like trying to keep that patchwork and try to make it work. It was, we're so close. It was a failure from the beginning. And to me, it was just a failure from the top. And I just think nothing changes, no matter who we get at coach. Nothing changes until the top has changed.
We've had every year we change one of our coordinators. Every single solitary year, an OC coordinator, a DC coordinator, something changes. Except Danny Crossman stays there. But honestly, guys, you know what? I'm telling you, you were saying the stud was Zach Sealer, our best player. So far through 3 games, I am not kidding when I say this, but I'll laugh. It's Jake Bailey. He's actually punting the ball well.
Poor Jake Bailey had 2 really good punts, and he had a punt for the third time, and that third punt was just whatever he could do. I was like, man, he finally is on a groove, and come on.
It's
No, but
4th and
that's
39.
Yeah.
But
I'm not. I was just
yeah.
like,
But
man,
no matter what,
and he did a great job drilling that punt. I was like, wow, great hang time and a penalty.
Yeah.
Even like Greg pointed out to us in a group chat, like they were making fun of us, both teams, for not having penalties.
but no, honestly, guys, no matter what we think of Greer, I'm agreeing with you on Greer.
Yeah.
3 points, and how bad the Seahawks were. You're in the red. Your defense gave you the ball in the red zone twice,
Yeah.
and you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You came up with 3 points. Your head coach, we need to get Tyreek Hill open more. Throw the goddamn ball to him. Do some. He literally. Remember, Brett, last year, 70 points after week 3. 3 points, 11 points a football game, 11 points.
Well, hey, look.
It's on Mike McDaniel. I'm sorry. He is the problem.
Here's the thing.
Now.
People are mad. Oh, they were trying to get Tyreek 2,000 yards. They're trying to get 2,000 yards. They need to run the ball more. I'll take Tyreek going for 2,000 yards because that means our offense is kicking. But Greg, when you need a big play, what do you think?
Oh, I throw the ball to Connor down the middle of the field. I mean, that's the obvious answer, isn't it?
Uh,
You think players, not plays? And who doesn't think of Tanner Connor over Tyreek? You know.
Well, like I said, we talked about it on Friday. We need,
exactly.
line people up, throw it deep, and just tell Thompson which one to throw to.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, it's not hard. You don't have to make it hard. All right.
Did you notice though? Did you notice though at one point Skylar Thompson even got angry because Aaron Brewer wasn't snapping him the ball?
Yeah.
They are so confused, so lost. And honestly, did you notice it again, Brett? Do you know how often Tyreek Hill took himself off the field?
Oh yeah, I saw
every other play.
Hill was just sitting there, just on the sideline, like nonchalant, just doesn't care because
he wrote a little adversity. If I hear the word adversity, one more episode.
I was going to say that's your episode title for Bandwagon. Just a little adversity.
No, mind you, no, guys. Every show, Mike McDaniel. Breaking news: Mike McDaniel is one game away from getting fired. That's my episode for this. He's a game away from getting fired. We are a quarterback away and a head coach away. That's our topic for Vince. I'm telling you, we are a quarterback away. We are a head coach away. We are a GM away. The three most foundational things that we're because right now.
Did you see Dan Marino during the game?
He walked away.
Yeah,
he did not want to be on camera.
Yeah, it was disgust. He was disgusted.
Yep. He didn't
By the way, did you happen to notice that today that Kirk Cousins? I understand it's going against Patrick Mahomes. Kirk Cousins last week proved why he is able to stay in this league. He's a pro. He's earned his stripes. Whether he's a great quarterback or not, he's still able to do something. He's
a damn good quarterback.
I'm trying to tell you this.
Who was that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the name.
Kirk Cousins.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to tell you this, and Brett, you're 100% right. And I was tweeting your horn as I was laughing throughout this and I'm actually laughing. I laughed the whole game. I was because I don't expect an apology from people, but the way you've been on the Greer train, I've been on the McDaniel train for 2 years. If people think that sunshine and rainbows and that the Red Sea is going to part and we're going to make it to the mountaintop because Tua Tagovailoa is coming back against Arizona, people are out to frickin' lunch because if they think what's going to happen is Mike McDaniel is going to think, oh my God, I got my quarterback back. I make a prediction right now, and it's as sad as it actually is here to say this, Bobby. I'll say it on this network right now. If Tua comes back, Tua will not make it to the end of the year because Tua is like Skylar Thompson, and he is not self-aware of what his capabilities are and the type of quarterback that he is. Did you see Tim Boyle? He knew what did he do? He had open space. He ran the ball when he was about to get hit. He slid. He doesn't care about the first down. He cares about the next play.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, they have no self. But have you ever noticed that though? None of our quarterbacks are self-aware. Like the fact that they have this quarterback whisper, but they're not self-aware. They don't know what's going on around them. They're relying. They're robots. They're robots listening.
He was a wide receivers coach. Everybody always forgets that he was a wide receivers coach. Everybody, no, he's a run game coordinator. He was a wide receivers coach for the longest time, and he with the Browns everywhere he went as a wide receivers coach. And then he became a run game coordinator to get him more balance because he was a pass game coordinator for a long time. Then he got to the run game coordinator.
So let me ask you this. I'm going to ask the three of you, and you just answer, one word answer. Okay. And I'm going to start with Brett because I know he'll do it. And then Greg, and then Evan because I doubt he'll just give me a one-word answer. But if you had to get rid of one, just one out of the triangle there, Okay, Greer, McDaniel, or Tua. You can only get rid of one.
Huh.
Who would you get rid of?
Greer.
Greg?
Greer.
Okay, Greg gave me 2 words. I'm just playing. All right. See, look, Evan can't say nothing yet because he wants to say more. Because Evan wants to answer, but then he has to put something on top that so he explains his answer. But I just want a 1-word answer. If you say McDaniel, you got to keep Greer and Tua. If you say Tua, you get a new quarterback, but you keep McDaniel and Greer. If you say Greer, you got to stay with McDaniel and Tua. So who would you give up?
Tua.
Okay.
I wasn't ready for that answer.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna be honest.
Would you like me to elaborate?
I know you want to.
No, I don't. I don't have to.
No, it's okay.
Do you want me to elaborate? Are you surprised I said Tua? Are you surprised I said Tua?
No, because I would have said it.
You want to know why I said Tua?
Yeah.
Very simply put, I think Mike McDaniel is a moron, but I think that if you bring in a veteran, if you bring in a Kirk Cousins, or you bring in a veteran quarterback who's able to read the line of scrimmage, who's able to call audibles, and is able to make their own plays. If you bring that trade that was suggested, if you bring in Matthew Stafford to run this offense next week, my mindset is completely different. You bring Kirk Cousins in to run this offense next week, because a particular person on this network said that quarterback play matters. If you're on this show and you said that, raise your hand. Hi, Greg.
Greg did.
Quarterback play matters. And if you have a veteran quarterback, the whole joke about Tom Brady, the reason why Tom Brady, do you happen to notice that Tom Brady won with, yes, he had Gronk, but no star wide receivers. Patrick Mahomes won Super Bowls with no star wide receivers. Tua Tagovailoa is a nice guy, but honestly, him and Mike McDaniel are fire and water. And honestly, Mike McDaniel is not going anywhere. Neither is Chris Greer, the way I believe it's going to happen. I don't think Ross is going to pull the trigger, but they can go out and get another quarterback who is a veteran. And honestly, I'd eat the money on Tua. Like, I honestly don't care. I don't want him to come back because of the fact that, not because he's, even on the sideline today, the fact that they kept on going back to him, I almost vomited in my mouth. Like, I don't need to see Tua Tagovailoa. I'm actually over, you know what it is? I'm suffering from Tua Tagovailoa exhaustion. He's been our story for so long, and he's gotten us nowhere.
But he's our franchise quarterback.
No, he's not.
He's our franchise quarterback, though.
No, he's not. We've only had 2 franchise quarterbacks in the history of our. Don't put him in the term of franchise quarterback with Dan Marino and Bob Greasy.
Well, I'll tell you this.
I was going to say Jay Fiedler and Ryan Tannehill.
Here you go.
No,
hey, listen. I'll give you guys this.
Tua is to win a playoff game.
Tua is
David
the best.
Woodley.
He's the best first-round pick at quarterback we've had since Ryan Tannehill.
No, because honestly,
all right, since Marino.
No,
wait, it's only been Tannehill and Tua. Oh,
no, but my point is that because I think we need a quarterback who's going to say, "F you, Mike McDaniel. I'm not going to run your stupid offense anymore." Because at one point, people have to start realizing this offense is not good. The play, he's no longer McGenius. He has not had a good offense for literally 2 seasons. That 70 game is an aberration. You take that away, they're averaging about 20 points a game. That is not a star offense. It is not fun to watch. It's laughable. It is his offense is as anemic as the Dolphins' offense was 5 years ago. We are in a worse position now with the talent that we have because of the contracts than we were 5 years ago. This rebuild has been a total colossal failure, and I'm sorry if we would be much further along with Brian Flores as our head coach and no Tua Tagovailoa than Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa. Brian Flores was right. I'm sorry, Brian Flores. Not the person. You were wrong on how you treated Tua. But as a football coach, he's a great football coach. Go look at Minnesota. Go look at that defense. Brett, you didn't maybe hear all the pregame show. I said to Bobby, C.J. Stroud is about to be humbled by Brian Flores. Yeah. And the Bill Belichick style defense.
Did you see what I said?
Crushed. What'd you say?
That Shanahan offense, Brian Flores is the proud owner of the Shanahan offense.
Yeah.
He shuts it down. He knows exactly how to stop it. He knows exactly what you're going to do. He takes every angle you have away from you. And he does it with under level players. Like it's you're talking mid-tier players. Like you're not talking elite defenders. He does it with great detail and discipline, which this defense doesn't seem to have. And it's funny, Chris Jones here, chat said that the Bills ran a 75 too high safety, 75% against us, and then 62% of the league runs it, which is he's right. But like Greg pointed out, we ran too high today, and DK Metcalf burned them. Why? Because Holland bit on the play fake. Like Greg pointed out, you can beat two man, you can still throw deep. Excuse me, deep on two man. Tyreek beat two man against the Bills twice. Both those, if he catches those, both those plays turn that game around for us. That's like we've said before, that football can be a game of plays, and a couple big plays changes the game. You've heard NFL coaches say that, and it's true. And that's the thing, like, but you have to hit on those. Good teams hit on those. Good teams can make mistakes and overcome them. Bad teams can't. The Dolphins won a turnover battle today, and they still lost. Yeah. So,
and what did I say on our show on Friday? What the key to the game is going to be. Which wide receiver group is going to make more plays?
Yeah, and who was it? It was DK Metcalf, and that was just early in the game. Honestly, the second
that
half
was a Weaver mistake. Weaver made a bad call there.
Yeah,
well, yeah, but they took advantage of it.
Yeah,
sure.
Right?
They saw it.
Lockett had a good game, and
JSN
had a good game.
Charbonnet came where he had to go.
And I'm going to say
Noah Fant, who had
I picked him up in fantasy for that.
Had 2 receptions coming into this game. What did he have? He had like 3 receptions in the first
Orlando
half, and I'm like,
again.
oh my God, they're picking on our linebackers again.
I lost George Kittle for this week, and I picked him up because I was like, we suck against tight ends. I'm picking him up. Although, shout out to Jalen Phillips for, I know he didn't cover very deep.
He got injured again, eh? He's injured again.
He played that very well. I didn't see what the injury was, but I saw
he got a weird when he was dying a tackle. I don't think
it's serious.
Honestly, Teron Armstead, he got poked in the eye. He's in concussion protocol for being poked in the eye.
Did you guys see my tweet about that?
No.
Yes.
We all have an eye injury watching that game.
Yeah. So, very quick. The Dolphins are currently last, ranked 32nd in the league in points scored with 33 points. The Panthers are just scored 36 points today. Dudley Durong says he doesn't want to hear it about any quarterback because he saw 3 backup quarterbacks do great today. And of course, that's something we stated.
Yes.
4 quarterbacks, actually. The Finn Extra has a good tweet up here, and it's so true. Miami could be without the following players for Tennessee on Monday Night Football. Bradley Chubb, of course, he's out with a knee. Tua Tagovailoa, Odell Beckham, and Isaiah Wynn all out. Raheem Mostert, chest injury. Teron Armstead, eye concussion. Skylar Thompson, chest injury. Kendall Fuller, concussion. David Long, hamstring. Storm Duck, shoulder. So something to.
Oh, Crew's going to blame injuries now. Now they're going to use the injuries.
I don't want to hear anything about excuse of no injuries. I said that. That don't matter to me.
Greer does this. He gets guys with a long list of injury histories, and people say, well, you can't predict the injuries. I can when you're constantly injured. But regardless of those names, how many of those are like, oh my God, we can't live without that player? How many of those players, if they played today, we win the game?
Maybe Chubb.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That kind of points to Evan's point about the talent level on this roster. Is just like when people said, well, we lost Isaiah Wynn last year. Okay, we lost a mid-tier offensive lineman that could be easily replaced. What? Like, how does that hurt us? Like, we have another offensive lineman that feels. And Teron Armstead, I've been saying it. He's not a terrible player on the field, but he's not elite by any means. His play can be replicated and it gets replicated by Lamb. Lamb does a fine job. So it's like an offensive line is not our problem. Our quarterbacks cause their own problems today. Boyle actually managed it better, but Skylar Thompson causes his own problems.
Well, I mean, before we throw too many flowers at Boyle here, he's a third-string quarterback who just said, "What the fuck." I'm just going to throw the ball and make see what's going on.
I'm not giving him flowers. He just looked like less terrible.
No,
because he had nothing to lose.
No, but the scary part about all this is you're taking a third-string quarterback who's been there for 3 weeks, and Mike McDaniel had the audacity to tell us his offense is so complicated that Tyler Huntley can't learn it in a week. I bet you if Tyler Huntley was in there today, just running the ball, we would have had a better chance to win. Just
And-
wing it. Just
and-
wing it.
And kind of going full circle here, going back to the beginning with the game plan and things like that, they didn't do anything different. All right,
Nothing.
you had
No.
a perfect opportunity with Skylar Thompson to roll out. Okay, a designed rollout. A one read throw, or a quarterback draw. Something different. Just give the defense something else to look at, and they didn't do it. I don't understand the whole plan.
I'm with you. I don't get it.
But-
It's like they didn't have a plan.
By the way, I love what 305 Sports what Williams said today, Bobby. Why can't the Hurricanes and the Dolphins be good at the same time?
I know.
Oh.
I was gonna say that's why I wore this. At least I have the Hurricanes.
By the way, you want to hear
went 6
proof?
for 60.
By the way, you guys will appreciate this. Greg and Brett and
I got
Patrick Mahomes just before, about 15 minutes ago, threw an interception in the red zone. Justin Simmons intercepted him. What happened? They did the Kansas City Chiefs. The Atlanta had the ball. They couldn't get anything. Patrick Mahomes got the ball, went back down the field, and tied the game. He forgets. They move on. The defense does their job. What did the Miami Dolphins do? The defense gave you 2 opportunities to get back in this football game. Potentially, you could have had the lead. You could have been tied. Instead,
well.
And let me say this very quick because you brought up Terran Armstead too, and Chris there. Chris, appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much and participating in the comments. Will Patron of 305 Sports now in the house, guys. If you haven't yet, go like and subscribe to his channel. Awesome, dude. Everyone who's watching and communicating right now, we appreciate you. Over 107, 108 people watching right now. Thank you, guys. I know it's true. I don't like you, Brett. Because you're Ohio State. But Chris, right? It said injuries could be prevented with a more fit team. I'll say this too with Armstead. People go, "Oh, injuries." Armstead was hurt, and we didn't. Again, they signed that dude to a massive deal, knowing his injury history.
Yep.
They knew that going in. That's why when he was a potential, when he was a free agent out of New Orleans, everybody was saying, "Go get Armstead." I would say, "No, do not get Armstead. Go get a right tackle." It was the guy from Trent Brown was the guy I was saying go get from New England at that time. Go sign him because that's to his blind side. Armstead, obviously, when he's on the field, when he's playing, yes, he's one of the best tackles, elite tackles in football, that whatnot. But it's when he's playing. And geez, Alou, you step on his toe, he's out for 4 weeks and out of the game.
Yeah.
Well, and when I heard he had an eye injury today, I'm like, put on a visor and put on an eye patch. You're a tackle. Okay.
Remember Orlando Brown?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, you're not trying to catch the ball or anything. Just squint. I don't care. Get back on the field. But a poked eye is in concussion protocol.
Hey, let me do this.
Gase got yelled at.
You were going through the games before the Broncos.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly what I was just going to start saying. Because I just saw the Broncos. I want to get to that. So very quick. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue this. Okay, and I'll start with Brett, then Greg, and then Evan. You can follow up. If you don't have anything to say about the game, we'll just keep going. Okay. So right now, Pittsburgh, Justin Fields led 3-0, beat the Chargers 20-10. Did I read correctly that Justin Herbert went out with a foot injury? Is that something that went down today?
Yeah, he went out. He went out with.
He was already being monitored for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and then you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were facing the Denver Broncos with Bo Nix. The Broncos 0-2 on the season came in and won 26-7. Bo Nix. That's obviously we know Josh Wingate, host of On the Clock with me. Huge fan of Bo Nix. Brett, what did you think about the Broncos taking down the Buccaneers?
Honestly, it was a little bit of a surprise that the game was so lopsided. I expected actually a close game, but I actually expect the Buccaneers to win. Buccaneers have been playing really good football, and they look like a good competitive team. The Broncos have turned it around this year. A lot of it's because of Bo Nix. I was actually a big fan of Bo Nix. I actually was hoping we could have a chance to draft him. Mature kid, strong arm, athletic guy, and he's coming into his own. He's not perfect right now, but he's definitely developing into a good quarterback, and he had himself a good game. Broncos played a complete game, and honestly, going out and just beating up on the Buccaneers, that wasn't a slouch team that did that too. So that was honestly a statement. I don't want to say a statement win, but that was definitely a good win for them.
Absolutely. Greg, the Philadelphia Eagles beat the New Orleans Saints. Of course, the Saints have been red hot the last 2 games, though, but they only scored 12 points against the Eagles. What'd you think about that?
A complete no-show on offense. You're pushing the ball down the field as the Saints. You're pushing the ball down the field, and you just decide to run the ball today. I don't know. I was surprised how low scoring that game was. To me, it was a toss-up who was going to win, and it was going to be a tight game. But I thought it was going to be 28-27, 28-24.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a high-scoring game, too. I'm with you.
Maybe 32-28,
I'll tell you what, both defenses came to play.
No joke. Saints are going to be a team. The Saints are, just because they lost today, they have a really good football team the way they're playing up there or down there for me.
Yeah. I agree. I think both of those teams are playoff teams.
Yeah. Evan, the Carolina Panthers went to Vegas with Andy Dalton as their quarterback. Like you said, everybody gave their coach a lot of crap when he benched Bryce Young, and he goes into Las Vegas and defeats the Raiders 36-22. Was it 3 touchdowns thrown by Andy Dalton? What do you think, man?
Their first quarterback this season to throw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. That goes to a backup pro, which proves the point that Mike McDaniels continues to be a moron.
He brings it right back. All right, now moving on. San Francisco takes on the Rams. The Rams are without Puka Nacua. They're without Cooper Kupp, but they still find a way to win. And I forgot which receiver it was, but I don't know if you guys saw that play. The receiver, he was about he jumped into the end zone. He did like a 450 splash into the end zone, hopping over defenders to get the touchdown.
Like Jerome Simpson style?
Oh my, yeah. Except he landed on his butt, but still, it was freaking amazing. It was so clean. But the Niners lose 24-27.
Wow.
Big game there. The Detroit Lions defeated the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona.
They needed that.
Yeah, they sure did after what happened. Yeah, for sure. Talking about bad luck, Greg and Brett, the Cowboys lose to the
refs almost gave that game away. The refs were screwing them up. The only reason the Ravens won today was because they finally used Derrick Henry. Oh,
shocker!
What
did I say? Now my fantasy team is doing pretty good now that Derrick Henry's being used.
But by the way, the network, the refs were trying to give the game to the Cowboys. They were making some very bad calls.
Yeah, no, and Dak Prescott said, "Hop off." He basically said, "Hop off the bandwagon if you're upset with the Cowboys losing today." I would have loved if one of our players said that because Evan would have a field day with that.
No,
I didn't care who won that.
Tyreek Hill says a little adversity. I still love this team, a winner or loss. All he cares about is his money right now. Honestly,
I'll tell you that was a game the Ravens needed. Back
let me ask
you. The wall.
Oh, for sure. 100%. I mean, Evan and I were talking about it earlier that so far the last 2 games for Baltimore, they've been a mess. So this is good to because again, that's a playoff team. That's a championship caliber team that they were struggling the last 2 games, and now you get a win against a good Dallas team. They should set them up.
I'll tell you, against the Chiefs,
so is Miami.
They made some mistakes against the Chiefs, but they weren't like terrible. It was a playoff atmosphere kind of game. And then against the Raiders, they were just like snake bitten. It's like they had that game. They were a better team than the Raiders. But the Raiders came in unafraid of them and just kind of surprised them. And the Ravens were too conservative and didn't have an answer. So they needed this win.
Last week, the Ravens lost to the Raiders because they decided to run the ball and quit scoring. This week, they're up big on Dallas. They decided to run the ball and quit scoring. Dallas almost comes back. There's a pattern here. Okay? Keep scoring. Yes. Keep scoring.
Yeah, and in Baltimore knows
Greg, you're falling right into my idea for Friday. I got you.
By the way, have you guys do you guys happen to notice some of these roughing the passer penalties that have been soft like Cottonelle today? I'm watching some of these highlights today. You touch a quarterback, they give a roughing the passer call. It's unbelievable how bad it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, first off, we're about an hour and 20 in. Gonna wrap this up. But before we do, I'm gonna give it to Brett. Brett, any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
honestly, I'm not surprised the way this is going. I honestly don't want to be so pessimistic, but I don't see us winning the game. Maybe until Tua comes back, unless Tyler Huntley ends up starting, he might be the only chance we have because he's a more proven quarterback. I'm not saying he's an elite or anything, but I
Mhm.
think he's a better quarterback than the two backups we have by a long shot. Um, unless they can figure something else out, I don't see how they win any more games for a few weeks. And it's kind of feels like 2021 where they might have hit a run, but it may be too late because they are going to get healthy again. They're going to get OBJ back. They're going to get Chubb back. I don't know how much if it's really going to matter. The defense is not terrible, honestly, but the Bills did coast through against us, and the offense made it really easy. And his defense is not made to play from behind. They're not made to play like trying to keep us in the game for a full game. You saw them break down at the end, and so it's going to be a challenge for them. But we're going to find out. We're finding out exactly who Mike McDaniel is and the team that Chris Greer built. And I think honestly, this is just the beginning of it all.
There you go.
So.
Greg, final thoughts, sir?
I don't ever want to see a Miami tight end on the field again.
There you go.
They don't block and they don't catch. Other than that, they're a good player, I guess.
Hey, Hill had a lot of penalty yards. I mean, he had more penalty yards than he did receiving yards.
I just want to understand the offensive game plan, and I'm hoping that for Monday night they simplify things and it's pretty obvious what they're trying to do, because whatever they're doing now is not working, and it hasn't worked since like I said, the last 6 games. Last 6 games, 1-5, and they're averaging under 14 points a game. I don't know how that's acceptable to anybody, and I don't want to hear offensive genius. I don't want to hear how good this offense is. I don't want to hear any of that for a while.
Yeah.
You know what? Score some points, figure something out, win with a backup. All right. I don't want to hear it. So no tight ends and a simple game plan on offense. That's what I'm looking for.
Evan?
Dear Mr. Ross, my name is Mike McDumbass, actually, AKO Mike McCase 2.0, with the worst quarterback in football. In the first half of today's game, I ran 28 plays. 20 were designed passing plays, even though my running game was working at the beginning of this football game. I apologize for taking all of your money. I now resign as the head football coach of the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to go now work for KPMG, entering data points into Excel spreadsheets. Sincerely, Mike McDumbass.
There you go. Everyone who
I do
tuned
not
in,
like this head coach. He is awful. He is the worst head coach in the NFL.
I thought you were
By a
done.
country mile.
I thought you were
Before
done.
you all
You're not
go,
done yet.
can you guys all name me a worse head coach?
I
Name
was
me a
so
worse head
proud of
coach.
you. Damn it.
Name me a worse head coach. Name me a coach you would not want over Mike McDaniel right now in the NFL. Name me one.
Right now. I'm about to say
Right
Cam
now,
Cameron.
active head coach that you're saying to me is a worse head coach than Mike McDaniel. Name me one that on today's day that has 11 points in the last 3 games, averaging this for first 3 games. Name me worse. Name me one worse. He hasn't had one good game. At least Gerard Mayo had a good game the first game of the year. Name me a bad. Name me one worse. Name me one worse. I can't name you one. Greg, Bobby, name me one.
No, there's a real possibility they're going to be last in the division after Monday night.
Oh yeah. I think they are.
Sadly. Evan is a happy fellow. Yeah, I know. All right, everyone who's tuning in, everyone who participated today. First off, thank you so much. Thanks to Greg and Brett for joining us. Woody,
thanks for having me.
Your pleasure.
Daniel is one of the worst coaches in the NFL. Will Patron in the house. Thank you, Christopher. DSG Label, Chris, Todd. Let me make sure I get most of everybody. Wendell, Hunter, Lo-Fi, everyone there. Make sure. Bam. Brett Legassi. Well, he's already here. I don't have to say shit to him. Manny, Jose. I want to make sure. First, if I miss you, forgive me. Cap. Everyone. There you go. The Enigma. Oh, there you go. You got a Seattle fan here. Appreciate you. Harrison, screw you. Bud, thank you. McLaurin, Atlas. We see here that beach person. Sorry, I lost your name. And then Tatiana. Everyone, thank you all for tuning in. No, it is week 3. We still have a long way to go, but no worries. Win, lose, or draw. Evan and I, Ed, Greg, Brett on overtime. And of course, they'll make their appearances here and there on the post-game show. We'll be here all season, win, lose, and draw, to suffer with you or celebrate with you. Until then,
Daniel was fired?
Like, subscribe, and most importantly, fins up.
Fins up.